Are your tasks all in one place or all over the place? That's what we're talking about today. Hi, this is Frank Buck, and this is the place to be if you want to get organized and make it look easy. This month, we're talking about how to help you get your digital task list in order so that it becomes the one place you can look to stay on track for everything you need to be doing. Now, if you're in the habit of writing things down, you're already about 75% of the way to being organized. When I say writing things down, it could be on paper or it could be some kind of digital tool. If you trapped information in something, either paper or digital, and you have a system that puts those things in good order for you, then your life is going to be in pretty good shape. The problem that we face today is that input comes from so many different directions. The challenge is to know the different places where information arrives, have some way to regularly check each of those places, extract the action items, and then put them all in one place. That way, you're working from a list rather than going back and forth between different tools and different places all day long. For me, my digital task manager, remember the milk, is the single source of truth. I want to give you a snapshot of how I handle the various types of input that come into my life. You never know when you're in the middle of something and a thought occurs or the phone rings or somebody walks in the door and suddenly we have a to-do to record. Well, if I'm at my computer, I hit one keyboard shortcut, Control Alt M, and a blank appears in the middle of my screen, allowing me to put into that blank the task that just came to mind. And it goes right into Remember the Milk. All I have to do is have Remember the Milk running in the background. It can even be minimized. And you don't even have to have the paid version of Remember the Milk to do this. You do need to have the desktop version. And now, if you don't know what I mean by that, I have an ebook that goes through my entire system for using Remember the Milk. If you're not on my email list, uh, get on that email list now because you'll get it for free. Come over to frankbuck.org and look for the spot where you can join the email list and do that today. If I'm not at my desk, as long as I have my phone nearby, I can record tasks instantly. All I have to do, I've got a little Remember the Milk widget on the home screen. Tap the little microphone button on it as I'm talking. It's recording whatever task, whatever I'm saying right now. And then I just hit one button and it records into Remember the Milk on my phone, syncing with the computer, syncing with the cloud, the task that I just entered. You do have to have the paid version of Remember the Milk to have the widget, but with the free version, it's three taps instead of one. One to open Remember the Milk, a second tap to create a new task, and a third tap on the microphone icon. And now I'm recording that new task. It's as easy as that, even with the free version. So where else does work show up? Rather, say, people come walking in your office, you task on the phone, that sort of thing. But where else? Well, often it shows up in email. If you watched last week's video, I talked a great deal about how to take tasks that show up in emails and turn those into tasks so that they wind up on your task list of choice. Like so many other web-based task managers, Remember the Milk gives me a special email address. So I created a contact called Remember Milk, pasted that email address, and now anytime I have an email that shows up that embeds tasks in there, we all have these. You read 5 paragraphs and you realize what I need to do as a result of this email is, call Jane. So how do I create a task called Call Jane with the appropriate information? Forward it to that special email address, and before I hit send, change the subject line to, Call Jane, and the entire body of the email shows up in a note that's attached to that task. That puts the task in my Remember the Milk inbox. I don't need to go back to that email. I can archive it. I can delete it. I never have to return to it, and nothing is going to fall through the cracks. Later in the day, I'll look at that Remember the Milk inbox and make decisions about due dates, priorities, and tags for the items that are in there. Now, if I know on the front end what date I want to see that task, the priority or any tags, I can add those to the task line. So, where else does information show up? Well, for many of us, it's text messages. Personally, I prefer people email me rather than send a text message unless it's something that I need to be doing right now. If it's something that rose to the level of importance that they would call me to say, hey, I need this information, or hey, I need you to do this right now. But it was something fairly quick where, a text message, just a few words, we get the point across. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I want to see in text messages. But I would much rather things arrive in an email so that I can simply handle it later in the day. Now, I do have my text messages cranked down so that the only time I get an audible alert from a text message is from those few people that I deal with on a regular basis who pretty much know how I operate and are going to text me when it's something where they need my attention right now. And each one of those people has their own little sound, so I know who's texting me on the front end before I even look at the phone. Now, what about all those other text messages that come in? And then personally, I don't get that many. But in the evening, I go to Google Messages and I do it on my computer rather than on the phone. If you have Google Messages, then you have the ability to go to messages.google.com on your computer and read those messages there. Now, the caveat is that your phone does need to be nearby, does need to be on, and that you have paired your phone with Google Messages on your computer by a QR code. It very easy to do. And I'm going to have some instructions on how to do that in the body of the blog post that accompanies this episode. Reading the messages on my computer allows me to copy and paste that message somewhere else, perhaps in a task or in the notes section of a task. If the message is of somewhat lasting value, I can also copy and paste that information into Evernote. So, where else does information show up? Well, one company I work with uses Slack as their means of communication. So, once a day, I go into Slack and read whatever's new. Again, I do that from my computer so that I can copy and paste relevant information where it needs to go. Where else does information arrive? Well, there are a limited number of people whose social media posts that I want to see on X and Blue Sky. On both of those platforms, I've created a list and put those people on that list. A link takes me not just to the appropriate platform, but to the appropriate list on that platform. Therefore, I'm able to see the content from the people I care about without seeing the people whose information I don't necessarily want to see. And speaking of the people I care about, if a Facebook friend is having a birthday tomorrow, I want to wish them a happy birthday. One link takes me not just to Facebook, but to the upcoming birthdays. Okay. I'm a serious Evernote user, and there's a very simple feature with the Evernote desktop software that I use multiple times every single day. It's known as the Evernote Quick Note or Evernote Helper. I've written about it and recorded a video before, and I'm going to share that link in the body of the blog post. When I hit Control Alt H on my keyboard, that little quick note appears in one corner of my computer screen. I can type anything. For example, if a phone call interrupts the work that I'm doing, I hit the Evernote quick note, take notes from the phone call, and then as soon as I hang up, I just click anywhere else and the quick note disappears. I now return to what I was working on. The next time the phone rings or there's something to jot down, I just hit the same little keyboard shortcut. The quick note comes back up, still with everything I had on it before. I just add the new information to it. As soon as I click away, it goes away. And then later in the day, I go back to it and handle everything that's there, copy and pasting to dos or appointments in the appropriate places, copying and pasting information into an Evernote note here or there, wherever the information needs to go. And then we get the little quick note back to zero. Keeping with the Evernote theme, information surfaces during the day that I trap in Evernote. Perhaps I have a lengthy meeting, a Zoom meeting, and I want to create a note to house everything about that meeting. That note winds up in my default notebook in Evernote, one called Inbox. So I make it a point sometime during the day to go to that notebook, look at everything that's in the inbox, clean it up, put it where it needs to go, harvest any to dos. And if you know me, you know I use Task Clone to take those to dos that are embedded in an Evernote note and send them over to Remember the Milk. So, where does your work show up? For you, it may be similar to what I've just described. You may have some additional places. Now, how do you keep up with what they are? Well, you might want to just list on an index card and have that beside your computer all of the different places to maybe check at the end of the day to make sure that you're getting everything that you need to check. Now, for me, I am a little bit more on the geeky side. I want to keep everything digital. So I have a little bit of automation set up. Every evening at 7 p.m., two things happen. First, I get an email that lists the things that I just talked about, all those different places to check, together with links that take me there. For example, a link to take me to the list over on X of those people that I want to read their stuff, or a link that takes me to Facebook to the birthdays that are happening tomorrow. So all of that shows up in an email. How do I do that? It's with if this, then that. So I have an applet that says if the date is today and the time is 7 p.m., then in Gmail, create an email, send it to my email address, and here's the information to have in the body of the email. So the links are there. And then a second thing happens, just to have some built-in redundancy. Over on Remember the Milk, a task shows up and it drops right in at the top of the task list in my priority one items, what I call my Fab Five. Again, it's done through if this then that. An applet that says if the date is today and the time is 7 p.m., then on Remember the Milk, create a new task, give it today's date, give it a priority of priority one, and then in the little note section, all of the things that I need to check. So those happen for me automatically without me thinking about it. It makes that digital task list the single source of truth. That little evening ritual includes one more thing, and it's vital to keeping me organized. As you've seen, a great deal of information gets thrown at Remember the Milk throughout the day, and it's all trapped in the inbox. That gives me one place to look to make decisions about due dates, priorities, tags that I want to assign. And in addition, if the task is not worded clearly because I was in a hurry when I added it, then I have another shot at making it clear and making it complete. Then in mass, I move all of those tasks from the inbox to the list that I call organize. That's all of the tasks that I have in the system, except for those that were in the inbox. Sort of like cleaning out the mailbox in front of your house. You get it back to empty every day. I get my email back to empty. I get my Remember the Milk's inbox back to empty, not by doing the tasks, but by making the decisions about date, priority, tag, wording, and moving them out of the inbox to the organized list. When I start the day, I open Remember the Milk, and it automatically opens to the Today list. There I see a list of every task that has a date of either today or sometime in the past. In other words, overdue tasks. That list is organized by priority. My Fab Five are at the top. Those are the five things that are most important for me to handle during the day, followed by the things I want to see during the morning, followed by the afternoon, followed by the evening. Those tasks may contain links that take me to notes in Evernote that contain supporting information that I'll need when I do that task. It may contain links to particular emails that give me supporting information for when I handle those tasks. It might give me links to videos or podcasts or articles that I've chosen to save for later. Every task in my life that repeats is also in Remember the Milk. I don't have to rethink the things that are going to be coming up every month or every year. I can check them off with full confidence that at the appropriate time, the task returns along with any supporting information in the notes section of that task. We all have plenty to do. I don't have to tell you that. You know how busy you are. Our choices are all of it can be in one place or it can be scattered all over the place, and it is a choice. And it's a choice for you to make today. Are you someone who's overwhelmed with all the things you have to do? The problem is likely not that it's hard to do the tasks. What's hard is keeping up with them all. And you probably have other people in your life who are in the same boat. Staying that way, though, is a choice. I want you to make a better choice today. I want you to come over to my email list. Come over to frankbuck.org. You'll see right there on the homepage how to join the email list. I want you to have the two free gifts. One is going to get your desk clean. You see, we all have paper in our lives, and I hadn't even talked about that during this episode. It's going to get your desk clean once and for all. And then several days later, you're going to get gift number two, the ebook on how to use Remember the Milk, how to set it up like I have mine, and have all your tasks in one digital place. You're done with rewriting task lists for the rest of your life. No more writing that pencil and paper to-do list. No more forgetting. Imagine everything you have to do in one place instead of all over the place. Thanks for stopping by today. This has been Frank Buck, helping you get organized and make it look easy.